As soon as you begin to listen to this message, something extraordinary is already happening. You are not just interacting with another video. You are standing at the threshold of a doorway that does not exist in your room, yet is completely real inside your consciousness. On the surface, you may simply be sitting or lying down where you are, but at a deeper level, your reality has already begun to shift. Because the truth is, you are not here to daydream about a different life someday. You are here to step into a parallel version of yourself now, a version that already lives the reality you have been trying so hard to attract. Maybe you are tired of feeling as if you are doing everything right with the law of attraction and still watching very little change. You visualize, you script, you repeat affirmations, you wait. Some small things move, but the big things seem glued in place. It can feel as if life keeps recycling the same version of you, the same patterns, the same limitations, no matter how sincerely you desire something more. Deep down, however, you sense that the universe is more fluid than you were taught. That there are timelines where things already worked out, where you already chose differently, where you already became the person you keep trying to become. The question is not whether those realities exist. The question is, can you access them consciously? Quantum jumping is the answer to that question, not as a clever phrase, but as a lived experience. In the next moments, you're going to do much more than relax. You're going to allow your body to rest while your consciousness steps out of its usual limits and moves into a parallel reality where your desired version of you already exists. Not as a fantasy, but as a fully formed possibility waiting to be selected. You are going to discover that your current life is not the only script available, and that you, as pure awareness, have the ability to choose a different role, a different body vehicle, a different set of beliefs and outcomes. Before we begin that journey, take a brief look at where you are right now. Perhaps you feel trapped inside a certain identity, the one who never quite has enough, the one who always attracts the same kind of relationship, the one who gets close to a breakthrough, but somehow slips back into the familiar. It might seem as if reality is fixed, and you are the one who must slowly push against it to make tiny changes. But at the quantum level, reality does not move first. You do. Your consciousness chooses a frequency, and the field rearranges itself to match. Quantum jumping is simply the art of doing this deliberately, stepping into a version of you whose frequency already matches what you want, instead of trying to drag your current self there inch by inch. In this guided journey, you will first be invited to relax your physical body so deeply that it becomes clear to you. Your body is not all that you are. It is your vehicle, your earthly suit, the instrument through which you experience the 3D world. But you, the real you, are the driver, the awareness sitting behind the eyes, the silent presence that can step out, observe, choose, and return transformed. As you soften the tension in your muscles and slow your breath, you are not just relaxing, you are loosening your identification with this one fixed version of yourself. You are preparing to discover that other vehicles, other versions of you already exist and are available. From there, you will be guided to imagine a window of pure, bright, white light appearing just in front of you. This light is not harsh or frightening. Instead, it feels like comfort, like peace, like a presence that has always known you. As you move toward it in your mind's eye, you will notice something powerful. With each step, you feel lighter, safer, more at ease, as if the weight of your usual worries cannot cross this threshold with you. When you open the window and step through, you will leave your physical body resting safely on the other side, held in light, while your consciousness enters a tunnel of pure brightness. This is the passageway between realities, the space where you are no longer limited by the story you have been telling yourself every day. Inside this radiant tunnel, you will begin to sense something remarkable. There are other versions of you available, other bodies, other emotional configurations, other belief systems that your consciousness could choose to inhabit. Some will look very similar to the one you know. Others will feel subtly or dramatically different. One may radiate unshakable confidence. Another may carry an easy, natural abundance around money and success. Another might feel incredibly healthy, vibrant, free. Your infinite mind is capable of reaching into all of these possibilities. And in this meditation, you will be shown how to notice them, how to evaluate them, and ultimately, how to choose the one that aligns perfectly with the experience your soul is asking for now. As you listen, you will be invited to try on this upgraded version of yourself like a new, finely tuned vehicle. You will step inside it and look through its eyes. You will feel how it thinks, how it believes, how it moves through the same world in a completely different way. You will sense the confidence, the clarity, the calm, the joy that comes naturally to this version of you. Not as something to chase, but as something already built into its design. And then, most importantly, you will be guided to bring this vehicle back with you, to merge it with your resting physical body so that its features, its beliefs, its emotions, its behaviors become active in your present life. If you are ready to live from that upgraded reality instead of only dreaming about it, make sure you subscribe to this channel now, so your conscious mind keeps being fed with content that reinforces this new timeline. Think of that simple act as small but powerful agreement with yourself. I am choosing to live as my quantum self, not just as my old story. From this point forward, as you move through the journey, remember, you are not trying to force the universe to give you something. You are allowing your consciousness to select the version of you that already has it. The moment you truly step into that parallel self and begin to merge it with your current life, manifestation is no longer a distant goal. It becomes a natural reflection of who you are being. Now, close your eyes, take a slow, intentional breath, and allow the doorway to open. Your new reality is waiting on the other side. Before you can leap into another reality, you first need to understand the one you are in now, not from the outside, but from the inside. Right now, as you listen, your body is here in this moment. You can feel its weight, the contact with the chair or bed beneath you, the gentle rise and fall of your chest. This body has carried you through every experience you have ever had. It has been there for every success, every mistake, every heartbreak, every quiet morning and sleepless night. It is familiar to you, sometimes so familiar that you forget something essential. This body is not who you are. It is your vehicle. You are the one driving it. For a moment, let your awareness move gently inward. Notice your breath without trying to fix it. Simply watch how air enters and leaves on its own. As you observe, you might notice a subtle shift, as if your point of view has stepped half a step back inside yourself. That watcher, the one noticing the breath, is your consciousness. It is not heavy. It does not age. It does not wrinkle or get tired. It is the silent presence that has been here in every chapter of your life. Even as your body, your thoughts, and your circumstances have changed hundreds of times. This is the you that can move between realities. Now, invite your body to soften, not because you are weak, but because you are safe enough right now to let go. Take a slow, deliberate breath in, and as you exhale, imagine that you are emptying out the noise of the day. Again, inhale, as if you are drawing calm into your chest, and exhale, as if you are allowing tension to melt down and out through your feet. Use your awareness like a gentle scanner, starting at the top of your head. Notice your scalp, your forehead, the space around your eyes. If you find tightness, you do not need to fight it. Simply acknowledge it and quietly request that it softens. Let your eyebrows smooth just a little. Your eyelids rest a little heavier. The tiny muscles around your eyes loosen as if they are tired of squinting at life in constant alert. Slowly move that inner attention down into your face, your jaw, your mouth. How often has this jaw clenched to hold back words or emotions? How many times has your tongue pressed against your teeth in silence? As you notice, give this area permission to release. Let your jaw hang just a fraction looser, your lips soften, your tongue rest. With each exhale, imagine tension sliding off your face like sand falling from a stone. Your consciousness is speaking to your vehicle, and the vehicle is listening. Allow your awareness to glide down into your neck and throat, the bridge between your thoughts and your voice. Feel whether you are holding yourself upright with effort, or whether you can let the weight of your head sink more comfortably into the support beneath you. Then move into your shoulders, those faithful carriers of invisible burdens. Sense the heaviness they hold, the years of responsibility, the moments when you lifted them unconsciously in fear or stress. As you breathe out, see if they can drift a little farther away from your ears, dropping into a more natural position. Your body has always worked for you. Now you are beginning to work with it. Continue downward into your arms, your hands, your fingers. These are the tools you use to act in the world, to reach, to hold, to work, to create. Notice any buzzing, any restlessness, any underlying urge to keep doing. As you breathe, invite your arms to rest fully, your hands to unclench, your fingers to unfurl. Feel the difference between a body on guard and a body at ease. This difference is important because quantum jumping requires a relaxed vehicle so that the driver can step out clearly. Now let your attention move into your chest and torso. Feel your lungs expanding and contracting. Feel your heart beating at its own rhythm. This is the engine room of your vehicle, constantly translating invisible signals from your thoughts and emotions into physical sensations. If there is tightness there, if your chest feels closed or shallow, simply notice it. And with every exhale, imagine gently opening a window from the inside. You do not have to force anything. You are just letting your body know it is allowed to take up space. It is allowed to breathe fully. It is allowed to exist without armor for a moment. Slide your awareness into your stomach, your lower back, your hips. These are places where unprocessed experiences often hide, disguised as knots, stiffness, or strange heaviness. Breathe into them. With each inhale, send kindness. With each exhale, let your muscles release a little of their grip. Sense how, as your body relaxes, your awareness naturally grows wider. You become less trapped inside a single point of tension and more like a spacious field that includes your body, but is not limited by it. Finally, move down through your thighs, your knees, your calves, your ankles, your feet, all the way to your toes. These are the parts of the vehicle that carry you forward in life. Let them rest deeply now. Imagine a gentle wave of softness flowing from your hips all the way down to the soles of your feet, as if your body were sinking into warm sand. As each area relaxes, notice how your sense of me begins to subtly separate from the physical sensations. The body is here, but you are the one observing that it is here. This is the first key. Your consciousness can watch the vehicle, which means it is not the vehicle. As your body settles into this state of deep ease, feel how your awareness begins to expand beyond the edges of your skin. You may start to sense the space around you more clearly, the air, the room, the silence. You might experience yourself as bigger than your body, as if you are both inside it and gently surrounding it at the same time. That feeling is not your imagination. It is your consciousness touching the truth of itself. Your body is one expression of you, one instrument among many that your awareness can use. But it is not your prison and not your definition. When you live every day without this understanding, it is easy to believe that you are stuck. Stuck with certain habits, stuck with certain reactions, stuck with certain patterns of reality that seem to repeat no matter what you try. The mind says, "This is just who I am. This is just my life." But as you lie here, breathing and watching, you can already see that this is not entirely true. The body you feel is a tool through which your consciousness is experiencing one version of reality. And tools can be changed. Vehicles can be upgraded. You, the driver, can decide to step out of one and into another. This is why this first stage of the journey matters so much. By inviting your body to relax, you are not only creating comfort, you are loosening the glue between your identity and your current form. You are training your system to recognize a simple but powerful fact. I have a body, but I am not only this body. I have thoughts, but I am not only these thoughts. I have a life, but I am not only this story. From this recognition, it becomes possible to imagine and then inhabit a parallel self, a different vehicle equipped with beliefs, emotions, and capacities that fit your deepest desires more accurately than the one you've been driving so far. Stay with this feeling for a moment longer. The body resting, the breath flowing, the awareness quietly watching. You do not need to reach for anything. You are simply learning to sit in the driver's seat instead of being crushed into the passenger's seat by old patterns. From here, the next step will come naturally. A new image will begin to appear before your inner eyes, a window, a light, a passageway. It will not be outside of you. It will arise from within your own consciousness. And when it does, you will be ready to do something most people never realize is possible. To gently step out of this familiar vehicle and walk toward a new one, carrying with you only what truly belongs to the real you. As your body rests more deeply and your awareness begins to feel larger than the outline of your skin, a new image starts to form in the space behind your closed eyes. You do not have to force it. Simply allow it to appear, a few feet in front of you. In the quiet darkness of your inner vision, a window begins to take shape. At first, it may be just a frame, a sense of an opening, and then it fills with an intense, pure, white light. This light is not like the harsh brightness of a lamp or a screen. It is dense, almost tangible, like a luminous mist pouring through the opening. For some, it could seem almost blinding, but for you, there is only comfort. The more you look at it, the more your body feels light, as if the weight you carry every day cannot follow you this close to the window. Let your consciousness take a gentle step toward this opening. You are still aware of your resting body in the background, lying or sitting where you left it, breathing slowly. But now the part of you that watches, that chooses, that feels, begins to move in the direction of the light. With each step you imagine yourself taking, notice what happens inside. Perhaps your thoughts become quieter, as if they know this is not the place for endless loops and worries. Perhaps your chest feels a little wider, your breath a little easier, as if the air itself is fresher here. There is no rush. The window is not going anywhere. You are meeting it at the exact pace your nervous system can handle. As you come closer, you might sense that this light is more than just brightness. It carries a feeling, a presence. It feels like peace, the kind of peace that does not depend on anything working out a certain way. It feels like love, the kind that does not ask you to earn it or prove anything. It feels like safety, not because there are no challenges in your life, but because in this moment, within this light, you are held. Let yourself rest in that feeling for a breath or two. You have spent so much time walking towards screens, deadlines, obligations. Now you are walking towards something that is here solely to support your consciousness. When you are ready, imagine yourself reaching the window. See your hand touching its frame, or simply feel your presence right up against that white glow. There is no glass to block you, no barrier you must break through. This is not a wall in your way. It is an invitation. Using the same quiet intention that moved your awareness across the room, decide to step through. In your inner vision, watch or feel yourself crossing that threshold, moving from the side where your resting body lies into the heart of the light itself. As soon as you pass through, you find that the light is not just on the other side. It is all around you. You are now inside a tunnel made of this luminous whiteness. There may be no clear floor or walls, yet you can feel yourself moving forward, as if gently carried. The light wraps around you like a warm blanket, but lighter, more alive. The warmth is not only physical, it is emotional, spiritual. You feel safe here in a way that defies explanation. You feel seen, not as the role you play in your everyday life, but as the pure awareness that you actually are. You might even sense a subtle joy, as if this space has been waiting for you to remember it. For a moment, turn your attention as if you are looking back toward where you came from. In your mind's eye, you can see the window behind you, and through it, your physical body resting exactly where you left it. Perhaps you see yourself lying there, eyes closed, chest rising and falling, completely untouched by this inner journey. There is something profoundly reassuring about that image. Your earthly vehicle is safe. It is surrounded by the same white light, protected, held in place. You do not need to worry about it. It will be there when you return. You are free now to travel with your consciousness alone. Notice what this realization does inside you. You are aware of your body, but you are not inside it in the usual way. You are aware of your life, your responsibilities, your history. But for this moment, they feel distant, like scenes on a screen instead of weights on your shoulders. Here in the tunnel of light, you exist as pure presence, as the one who has lived all those moments and yet is not defined or limited by any of them. There is a deep relief in that. You are not trying to fix your old story right now. You are stepping into a space where new stories are possible. Turn your attention forward again toward the flow of the light. You may sense a gentle motion, as if you are gliding or being guided deeper into this luminous passage. There is no strain. You do not have to push, strive, or force anything. Your only task is to remain aware, to feel the movement of your consciousness as it travels. The farther you move, the more you may notice the boundaries of your old identity becoming softer. The version of you that wakes up in the same bed, with the same worries, in the same routines, begins to feel like just one of many possibilities, not the only one. As you move along the tunnel, allow your imagination to expand. Sense that just beyond your current perception, there are branching paths, doorways, openings, each one leading to a slightly different reality, a slightly different version of you. You do not have to see them clearly yet. It is enough to know that they are there, that the universe is not a single straight line, but an entire network of potential experiences that your consciousness can choose from. The white light is like the canvas that holds all of these possibilities. Within it, nothing is fixed. Everything is alive, moving, available. This is the essence of the window you step through. It is not only a symbol, it is a shift in perspective. On one side of the window, you are fully merged with one version of yourself, one vehicle, one timeline. On this side, in the tunnel of light, you are awareness itself, able to observe that version from a distance and to sense others waiting to be explored. You are no longer trapped in the assumption that this is just my life, and I have to work very hard to slightly improve it. Instead, you are beginning to see that my life is a selection from a vast field of options, and that selection can change when consciousness moves. Stay here for a few breaths, simply feeling what it is like to exist in this space. Notice the absence of pressure. Notice the absence of the old background noise that usually runs in your mind. Notice how natural it feels, even if it is new. Part of you recognizes this tunnel, this light, this sense of being more than your body. It is like a memory from before you were born and after you will leave this particular form. You are visiting the backstage of your reality, the place from which new roles, new bodies, new experiences can be chosen. As this understanding settles into you, a quiet excitement may begin to grow. If you are not locked into just one vehicle, if there are indeed other versions of you that already exist in this quantum field, then what might be possible? What if there is a version of you that already thinks the thoughts you want to think, feels the confidence you long to feel, lives with the ease you crave? What if you could meet that version, step into it, and bring its upgrades back with you? In this tunnel of light, those questions are not fantasies. They are the next natural step. And that step is coming. As you continue to drift gently through this luminous passage, shapes will begin to emerge ahead, forms, silhouettes, glowing outlines. You are about to enter the gallery of your possible selves, the infinite showroom of the vehicles your consciousness can inhabit. You do not need to know how it works. You only need to stay present, stay open, and allow the field to show you what has always been waiting just beyond the edge of your familiar reality. As you continue moving effortlessly through the tunnel of light, the brightness around you begins to shift. It does not fade, but it starts to organize itself into clearer shapes, as if the fog of pure potential is crystallizing into forms your mind can recognize. Ahead of you, you notice outlines, silhouettes, figures standing in the glow. At first, they might look like distant reflections, but as you draw closer, a startling realization emerges. You are surrounded by versions of yourself. These are not abstract ideas or imaginary characters. Each one is a complete vehicle that your consciousness could inhabit, just as it currently inhabits the body resting on the other side of the window. Some of these versions look almost identical to the way you know yourself now, with only tiny differences in expression or posture. Others show visible variations, subtle changes in the way they hold themselves, the light in their eyes, the softness or strength in their faces. A few might appear dramatically different, as if they come from a life where entirely new choices were made long ago. Take a moment to let this vision settle. You are standing in what could be called the infinite gallery of your possible selves, your parallel realities made visible. Each of these bodies is not just a shell. It carries a unique combination of beliefs, habits, emotional patterns, and life trajectories. One version may have grown up with the same circumstances, but responded with greater courage at one crucial moment, setting their entire life on a different path. Another may have learned to trust, to forgive, to receive sooner than you did, and now lives in a timeline where love feels safe and natural. Yet another may have taken their health seriously earlier and now moves with a vitality you have only dreamed of. Let your consciousness drift gently among them. You do not need to judge or compare. Simply observe. Notice the way each version of you stands. Some are slightly hunched, eyes lowered, shoulders curved inward, carrying stories of fear and self-doubt. Others hold themselves differently, spine tall, shoulders relaxed, gaze clear, not with arrogance, but with the quiet assurance of someone who knows their place in the universe. Notice the energy in their faces. In some, you might see lines etched by constant worry. In others, you may see lines too, but softened by acceptance, by laughter, by having lived fully rather than merely survived. As you look closer, you may begin to sense the inner world of these versions. Imagine that you can feel what each one believes about life, about love, about money, about their own worth. In one, there is a constant hum of, "I am not enough," even if they smile. In another, there's a steady, gentle knowing of, "I am allowed to exist as I am, and there is space for me here." In one, the future feels heavy and uncertain, a place to brace against. In another, the future feels open and inviting, not because they know every detail, but because they trust themselves and the flow of life. This is not about rejecting the version of you who brought you here. That version is sacred too. It is the one who said yes to this journey, who endured, who searched, who kept going long enough to arrive at this moment of possibility. Instead of judging, thank that self silently. Recognize that without all of their choices, their struggles, their attempts, you would not be standing in this gallery now. Your current self is not a mistake, it is a starting point. And from this starting point, you are free to choose differently. Turn your attention now to the versions of you who seem to call to your heart the most. There may be one that immediately draws your gaze, or several that feel intriguing. Maybe you see a version of yourself who radiates an unshakable confidence, not loud or flashy, but steady, like a calm flame that does not flicker in the wind. Maybe you see a version whose body looks stronger, more fluid, healthier, as if they know how to care for themselves with ease rather than discipline rooted in punishment. Maybe you see a version who carries a lightness in their chest, a softness in their eyes that tells you they know how to love and be loved without fear. Allow yourself to get closer to one of these figures. As you approach, notice more details. How does this you stand? How do they breathe? What is the expression on their face when they are at rest? You might sense that their mind is quieter, less crowded with self-criticism. You might feel that their nervous system is calmer, less constantly on alert. You may even pick up on the kinds of thoughts they think automatically. Things work out for me. I can handle what comes. I deserve to feel good. My desires are valid. These beliefs are not forced affirmations for them. They are the default settings of their inner world. Remember that each of these bodies, each of these versions, lives in a reality where their inner configuration creates outer experiences to match. The confident you has different conversations, says yes and no in different places, attracts different opportunities, walks away from what does not align. The healthy you chooses differently at 1,000 tiny crossroads each day, not from fear, but from a genuine friendship with their body. The peaceful you experiences the same world news, the same traffic, the same human complexity, but responds from a fundamentally different state. This is the power of quantum jumping. You are not just borrowing their mindset. You are choosing to inhabit their entire pattern of being. Let your awareness expand again so you can see the gallery as a whole. Each possible self stands in the light, available. None of them are angry with you. None of them are jealous. They are all simply expressions of what you could be, waiting for your choice. At the deepest level, all of them are you. They are branches of the same tree of consciousness. You are not trying to become someone else. You are deciding which branch you will live on. In this space, there is no sense of too late. Time, as you know it in the physical world, is not the ruler here. What matters is alignment. The reality you experience is the one that matches the version of you are currently inhabiting. If you choose a different version, reality will begin to shape itself around that choice. Not as a magic trick, but as the natural response of the quantum field to a change in your core frequency. Take another moment to walk, float, or simply glide among these selves. Notice the one that continues to pull your attention back, the one that feels like home in a way your current life only occasionally does. It might not be the flashiest or the most dramatic. It might be the one that feels quietly right, deeply sincere, aligned with what your heart has been trying to tell you for a long time. This is the self you are getting ready to choose, not as a fantasy, but as a vehicle, a new configuration your consciousness can step into and bring back with you. As you stand before this chosen version, feel the light around you intensify for a moment, as if the field itself is acknowledging your decision. You have looked at your options. You have honored the self that brought you here. You have allowed your heart to recognize the upgrade that resonates most deeply. The next step is both simple and profound. You are going to step into this version and feel what it is like to live from inside their skin, their beliefs, their emotions. This is where quantum jumping becomes real. Not in theory, but in your direct experience. Now you stand face to face with the version of you that calls to your soul the most. This is not a distant, unreachable ideal. It is a living possibility, a fully formed configuration of you that already exists in the quantum field. Take a moment just to be in its presence. Notice the energy that surrounds this upgraded vehicle. Perhaps you sense a quiet confidence radiating from it, as if this you knows how to move through life without constantly questioning their own worth. Maybe you feel a steadiness, like a deep-rooted tree that bends with the wind but does not break. Or maybe there is a brightness, an ease, a kind of inner freedom that feels both new and strangely familiar, like something you once knew and are now remembering. Let your attention move slowly from head to toe. Look into this version's eyes. What do you see there? There may be more light, more clarity, more softness. Notice whether these eyes seem afraid of the future, or whether they hold a quiet trust, an underlying sense that whatever comes, this you can meet it. Observe the set of their jaw, the lines of their face. Are they carrying the same tension you often find in your own? Or is there a greater softness, as though this version has made peace with parts of life that still trouble you? Look at their shoulders, their chest, their posture. Does this body seem to shrink from the world or meet it? Now shift your awareness from appearance to essence. Imagine that you can feel what it feels like to live inside this upgraded vehicle. What kinds of beliefs does this you hold as obvious truths? Maybe they deeply, instinctively know that they are worthy of love without having to earn it. Maybe they believe that money is a tool that flows in and out, not a terrifying measure of their value. Maybe they trust that their voice matters, that their feelings are valid, that their desires are not selfish, but sacred indicators of their path. Let one or two of these beliefs rise to the surface, and simply notice how different they are from the ones that have quietly run your life until now. Pay attention as well to the emotional climate this version of you lives in. No one is happy every moment, not even in a parallel reality. But there is a baseline frequency, a default state. Does this you vibrate with chronic anxiety or with a calmer, more grounded presence? Does this you move with a sense of constant urgency or with the understanding that there is time to do what truly matters? Perhaps this version knows how to feel sadness without drowning in it, how to feel anger without being consumed, how to return to peace more easily after being shaken. This emotional pattern is part of the upgrade. It is not a mask they wear. It is who they are being. If it feels right, imagine now that you are walking slowly around this version of you, as if examining a beautifully crafted instrument you are about to learn to play. You might notice the way they breathe. Slower, deeper, more complete. You might notice the way their hands rest. Not clenched, not fidgeting, simply present. You might perceive the way their heart feels inside their chest. Less armored, more open, yet still wise and discerning. Every detail you notice is a hint about how this vehicle experiences and creates reality. At some point, you will feel a subtle inner nod, a sense of, yes, this is it. When you feel that, know that your consciousness has already chosen. This is the version of you that best matches what your soul is ready to live now. There might be other upgrades later, other vehicles to explore in future journeys. But in this moment, this is the one. Take one gentle breath to seal that choice inside yourself, as if you are saying, I accept this configuration. I am ready to experience life as this me. Now, using your imagination as a bridge, prepare to step inside. You might see the upgraded you as if they are standing just ahead of you, and you begin to move forward, your form merging with theirs. Or you may imagine that their body is an outfit you are slipping into, or a field of energy you are walking into. There is no wrong way. What matters is the intention. You are choosing to inhabit this vehicle, to see through its eyes, to feel with its heart, to think with its mind. As you step in, notice the first sensations. It may feel like your perspective shifts slightly, as though the world tilts a few degrees and suddenly looks clearer. It might feel as if you are taller or more grounded, even if your physical height has not changed. You could sense a new kind of strength in your spine, a new softness in your chest, a new stillness in your mind. Allow whatever arises to be there. You are not forcing anything. You are letting your consciousness settle into a space that was already prepared for it. Take a moment to look out from inside this upgraded body. Imagine opening its eyes and seeing the world, or this tunnel of light, through them. What feels different? Does fear seem quieter, further away? Does hope feel more solid, less like a fragile wish and more like a natural state? Perhaps possibilities that used to feel out of reach now seem like realistic options. You might even notice that your inner voice sounds different, less critical and more like an encouraging, wise friend. Now, let yourself feel the emotional baseline of this new you from the inside. Breathe as they breathe. Notice how their nervous system hums. Is there more calm, more confidence, more spaciousness inside your chest? Maybe there is a gentle excitement, a willingness to participate in life again. Perhaps a sense of self-respect that makes it easier to say no when something is not right and yes when something is aligned. This is not pretend. You are tuning into a genuine frequency that has always been available to you in the quantum field. By feeling it now, you are beginning to install it. If you wish, gently bring to mind one area of your life that has been challenging. Perhaps relationships, money, health, purpose. From inside this upgraded vehicle, ask yourself quietly, how does this version of me see this situation? What do they believe about it? How do they respond to it? Do not overthink. Let the answer rise from the body, from the heart, from the gut. Maybe this you see solutions where you saw walls. Maybe they feel less desperate, more patient, more empowered. Maybe they simply know that they will be okay, no matter what. That knowing alone can change everything. Take your time here. This is the heart of the quantum jump. The more vividly and sincerely you experience life from inside this upgraded you, the more deeply your consciousness accepts. This is who I am now. There is no need to cling to your old identity in this space. You are not betraying who you were. You are honoring who you are becoming. The self that struggled brought you to this point. The self you have just stepped into will carry you forward. When you are ready, imagine this upgraded body as fitting you perfectly, like a custom-made suit or a home whose layout makes instant sense. There is no tightness, no pretending, only alignment, only a feeling of, yes, this is what I was meant to feel like all along. Let that feeling spread through every part of your awareness. You have chosen your new vehicle. You have entered it. You have felt it from the inside. The next step is to bring this vehicle back through the window of light, to merge it with your resting physical body so that its upgrades become your daily experience. In a moment, you will turn back toward the direction you came from, still fully inside this upgraded self. You will begin the journey back to the window, back to your earthly vehicle, bringing with you new beliefs, new feelings, and new patterns coded into your consciousness. As you move, you will notice just how different the return feels, because you are no longer the same driver who first stepped into the tunnel, still inside this upgraded version of yourself. Take a gentle inner turn, as if you are facing back toward the path you came from. The tunnel of white light stretches before you once more. But now you are not the same presence that first entered it. When you began this journey, you stepped out of your old vehicle carrying the weight of familiar beliefs and patterns. Now you are walking in a new configuration, wearing a body and a state of consciousness that match the life you actually want to live. Feel that difference for a moment. You are not simply going back. You are going back as someone else. Begin to move through the tunnel in the direction of the window you first stepped through. There is no hurry. With each step, each breath, sense how this new vehicle responds. Notice how the upgraded you travels. Does this version move with more ease, as if they trust the path ahead? Does their chest stay more open, even as they move toward the edge of a change. Perhaps their thoughts are less anxious, less busy, more curious. You might find that instead of asking, "What if it doesn't work?" this you wonders, "What if it does?" You are not just imagining this. You are letting your nervous system feel the journey home as this new self. As you glide closer to the window, the memory of your resting physical body becomes clearer. You can sense it waiting on the other side, exactly where you left it, safe, held, surrounded by the same white light that fills this tunnel. Think of that body with tenderness. It has carried the weight of all your experiences, your disappointments, your efforts, your late nights and early mornings. It has been the stage on which your old story unfolded, doing the best it could with the instructions it was given. Now, instead of seeing it as something broken or limited, recognize it as a loyal vehicle that is about to receive an upgrade. The closer you come to the window, the more clearly you may feel both versions of you at once. The new self you are inhabiting now and the familiar body waiting for you in the physical world. For a moment, hold both in your awareness. You might picture your current physical form as if lying or sitting in front of you, and your upgraded self standing or floating just beside it. Notice how they are alike and how they differ. The curves of the face may be similar, the shape of the hands, the general frame. But the energy is different. In one, there may still be a trace of heaviness, tension, old expectations. In the other, there is more space, more light, more quiet strength. Now imagine yourself reaching the window of white light from this side of the tunnel. Feel your upgraded body step up to it, just as your consciousness did before. The window is not a barrier. It is a bridge. When you first crossed, you moved from form into pure awareness. This time, you are bringing a new form, a new configuration of consciousness, back with you. With gentle intention, step through the window. Again, feeling the light wrap around you for a brief moment as you pass from the subtle realm back toward the physical. On the other side, you find yourself standing beside your resting earthly vehicle. See it clearly in your mind's eye. Your body, as you know it, eyes closed, breath steady, completely at peace. Now comes the moment where realities merge. Understand something very important. You are not abandoning your old body to become a fantasy self. You are inviting the upgraded pattern you have just inhabited to merge with the physical structure you already have. Like installing a new operating system into a trusted device, you are keeping the form but transforming the way it runs. In your inner vision, imagine your upgraded self stepping gently toward your resting body. You might see them as separate for a brief instant, one glowing, standing, awake, the other still, horizontal, waiting. Then, with a soft, deliberate choice, see them merge. You can imagine your upgraded self lying down and aligning with the physical form, as if slipping into it. You can picture both images overlapping until there is only one. You can feel it as a wave of warmth, light, or energy flowing from the new vehicle into the old, filling it from head to toe. Let your mind choose whatever image feels most natural, as long as the meaning is clear. They are becoming one. As this fusion takes place, imagine the upgrades transferring themselves into your physical system. The new beliefs begin to settle into your brain, rewriting the old scripts that once said, "I can't, I'm stuck. This is just how it is." They are replaced, gently but firmly, with thoughts like, "I can handle this. I deserve better. Life can support me. Change is possible now." The new emotional patterns begin to fill your nervous system, teaching your body how it feels to return to calm more quickly, to trust more easily, to live with a sense of inner stability not dependent on external circumstances. See the upgraded posture, the way that new version of you carried themselves, begin to imprint into your muscles and bones. Your shoulders remember how it feels to rest lower, away from your ears. Your spine remembers how it feels to be upright, without strain. Your face remembers how it feels to soften, to carry less armor. Even your breath remembers how to move more freely. no longer trapped in your upper chest, but flowing all the way down into your belly, signaling to your system that safety is available. You might also sense a shift in your inner voice. The harsh critic that once spoke first may find itself quieter, less convincing. In its place, the tone of the upgraded you, clear, compassionate, steady, begins to rise. It might say things like, "We can do this. Let's take this one step at a time. We have options." You are not trying to silence every old thought forever. You are simply giving more volume and authority to the voice that matches your chosen timeline. As this merging continues, allow yourself to feel, in your body, what it is like to be this new configuration in your familiar form. You are still you. Your memories remain. Your history is not erased. But your relationship to all of it has changed. It is as if you are looking at your life from a higher vantage point, with more resources, more strength, more compassion for yourself. The problems that once seemed impossible might still be present, but you are no longer the same person facing them. And that difference alone begins to bend reality. Know that this integration is not limited to the minutes of this journey. What you are doing now is giving your mind and body a clear, felt blueprint of who you are choosing to be. In the hours and days that follow, your system will naturally begin to reorganize around it. You may notice yourself reacting differently in situations that used to trigger you. You may feel new ideas rising, new impulses to act, new boundaries forming. These are not random changes. They are the physical world rearranging itself around the upgraded driver in the same old vehicle. If there is any part of you that feels resistance, perhaps a whisper that says, "This is too good to be true," or "I don't deserve this," you do not need to fight it. Simply acknowledge it and let the upgraded you respond. How does this new version of you answer that doubt? Maybe they say, "We have carried enough pain. It is safe to receive now." Maybe they say, "We do not have to be perfect to improve." Let their calm, grounded perspective begin to soothe the resistant parts. Integration is not about forcing every piece of you to agree immediately. It is about letting the strongest, clearest version of you lead. As the merging completes, feel yourself fully inside your physical body again. Notice the contact of your back or legs, the weight of your head, the gentle movement of your chest as you breathe. At the same time, feel the echo of the tunnel of light, the gallery of selves, the upgraded vehicle you chose. All of that is now inside you. You have not left it behind. You have brought it home. You and your body are now partners in a new reality. Stay here for a few breaths, simply experiencing this wholeness. Consciousness and form reunited, old and new interwoven, potential and physicality joined. The jump has been made. The next step is to live from this place, to let this upgraded configuration express itself through your choices, your actions, your words, your daily life. And that is exactly what awaits you as you begin to move back into your waking state. The opportunity to walk through your world as the quantum jumped you, and to watch reality respond. Now that you have merged with your upgraded self and settled back into your physical body, the real adventure begins. The meditation, the tunnel of light, the gallery of selves, the merging, all of that opens the door. But it is in your everyday life that you actually walk through it. Quantum jumping is not meant to be a beautiful escape that fades the moment you stand up. It is meant to change the way you exist in your own world, moment by moment, in ways that are sometimes gentle and sometimes unmistakably bold. Living as the quantum jumped, you means allowing what you experienced in that inner journey to guide how you think, feel, and act when the video is over and the ordinary details return. As you begin to move, perhaps opening your eyes or simply feeling more alert, take a quiet moment to notice what is different. The room may look the same. The same responsibilities may be waiting for you. The same people exist in your life, with the same personalities and needs. But something in you has shifted. even if it feels subtle at first. Maybe your chest feels a little more open. Maybe your breath flows more easily. Maybe the usual weight that sits on your shoulders feels reduced, even by a small degree. These tiny changes are important. They are like the first ripples on the surface of a lake after a stone has been dropped in. The stone is your new identity. The ripples are the way reality will slowly, then suddenly, reorganize itself around it. Living as the quantum jumped you begins with remembering the feeling of that upgraded self and choosing it again in the simplest of moments. You do not need to walk around all day forcing yourself to think about tunnels and windows and light. Instead, you come back to one core question whenever you can. How would the version of me I stepped into respond here? When a familiar trigger appears, a message that would usually make your heart race, a comment that would normally sting, a minor setback that would once have ruined your day, you pause, even for a single breath. In that pause, you are standing once more in the gallery, aware that you have more than one way to be. The old self knows how to react. The upgraded self knows how to respond. You feel for that upgraded response and let it lead. At first, this might feel a little deliberate, even awkward, like learning a new language or trying on new shoes. But remember how natural it felt inside the tunnel when you stepped into that chosen version of yourself. In that space, their confidence, their calm, their clarity felt like home. That was not a fantasy. It was your consciousness recognizing its own potential. Now your task is not to invent anything new, but to recall that feeling and let it shape your choices. Each time you do, the new pattern becomes less like a costume and more like your skin. Do not underestimate the power of small, consistent shifts. The quantum jump you does not have to overhaul your entire life overnight to prove they are real. Often, the most powerful evidence appears in understated ways. You might notice that you speak a little more honestly in a conversation where you would once have stayed quiet. You might find yourself taking a break when your old self would have pushed through exhaustion. You might make a slightly different decision with money or food or time, one that respects your well-being instead of sacrificing it. Each of these moments sends a clear signal to the field. This is who I am now. And the field, always faithful, begins to mirror that identity. There will be times when the old self tries to reclaim its place. Patterns that have been running for years do not always dissolve in an instant. You might catch yourself reacting in an old way, snapping at someone, sinking into self-doubt, shrinking back from an opportunity, and feel a flicker of disappointment, as if the jump didn't work. When that happens, remember, you are not back at the beginning. You are simply being shown where the new you has more space to grow. Instead of criticizing yourself, let the upgraded you respond to the slip. How would they talk to you in that moment? Most likely with patience, understanding, and a gentle redirection. We fell into an old habit. That's okay. We know the new way. Let's choose it next time. This compassionate self-correction is itself a sign that you are living from a higher timeline. As days pass, you may notice your perception of yourself changing in quiet but profound ways. The quantum jumped you does not carry the same story about who you are and what you deserve. Where the old self might have repeated, "I always attract this kind of situation," the new self begins to think, "I am allowed to expect better." Where the old self believed, "I am stuck where I am," the new self senses, "I am in motion, even when I cannot see it yet." These thoughts are not decorative affirmations. They become the foundation from which you act. And because action flows from belief, the outer realities you find yourself in begin to shift correspondingly. You may also feel the impulse to revisit the quantum space, to return to the tunnel of light and the gallery of selves for reinforcement or further refinement. That is not only allowed, it is wise. The doorway you step through is not a one-time event that disappears. It is a relationship with your own consciousness. Anytime you feel deeply misaligned with the life you are living, you can close your eyes, breathe, and imagine that window of light reappearing before you. You can step through, reconnect with the wider field of who you can be, and either strengthen your connection with the same upgraded self, or choose an even more refined version that matches your growth. In this way, quantum jumping becomes both a singular event and an ongoing practice. Living as the quantum jumped, you will also change how you relate to your past. The old self might have looked back and seen only failures, missed chances, and reasons to distrust life. The upgraded you sees something else. The path that led you here. The mistakes become lessons that gave you discernment. The heartbreaks become initiations that taught you what real love feels like. The times you felt lost become the very reasons you were willing to seek something as deep as a quantum shift. This reinterpretation of your past is not denial. It is an act of reclamation. It allows your history to become a source of power instead of proof that you are doomed to repeat it. As your inner landscape changes, people around you may respond differently. Some will be drawn to your new energy, sensing the calm, the clarity, the quiet self-respect. They may not know what changed, but they will feel more at ease around you, or more inspired, or more willing to show up as their own higher self. Others might feel unsettled by the fact that you no longer play the role they are used to. You may find that you are less available for certain dynamics, less willing to shrink or overgive or tolerate what drains you. This, too, is a natural part of living as the quantum jumped you. You are not obligated to maintain relationships or roles that only fit the old vehicle. As your consciousness chooses a new configuration, your outer life will gradually reshape itself to support that choice. Through it all, remember that speed is not measured by how fast everything outside changes, but by how steadily you hold the frequency inside. Quantum manifestation is not about forcing instant results. It is about becoming so coherent in your identity that the field cannot help but respond. Some shifts will be immediate. A conversation that goes differently, a feeling of peace where there used to be panic, a sudden idea that solves a problem. Others will unfold over weeks or months as new habits solidify and old structures fall away. Your only job is to keep choosing from the place of the upgraded self, again and again, especially in the small moments when no one is watching. In the end, living as the quantum jumped you is less about dramatic fireworks and more about a deep, steady change in how you inhabit your own existence. You wake up and, even on difficult days, there is a quiet undercurrent of, I am not who I once was. I have access to more. You walk through familiar rooms and notice that you move differently, breathe differently, respond differently. You face challenges, and instead of collapsing, you feel an urge to ask, how would my upgraded self handle this? And you act accordingly, even if your hands tremble a little at first. This is how parallel realities become visible, not in science fiction portals, but in the way your life feels from the inside. You are still in the same world, but the version of you living in it has changed. And as that new you stabilizes, your world will, inevitably, rearrange itself to match. There will be a moment, perhaps later today, perhaps on an ordinary morning, that you catch yourself in the mirror or feel a familiar emotion rise and remember this journey. Not as a vague daydream, but as something that actually shifted you. You will recall the feeling of leaving your body resting behind the window of light, of walking through that luminous tunnel, of standing in front of a version of yourself who felt more like home than the one you had been living as for years. You will remember the quiet certainty of stepping into that upgraded vehicle and the strange, beautiful tenderness of bringing it back to merge with the body you know. In that moment, you will realize that what happened here was not just a guided meditation. It was a choice, a very real one. From the outside, nothing about your journey is obvious. No one else saw the tunnel of light. No one else watched you walk among your possible selves. No one else stood in your place when you stepped into the you that carries more confidence, more peace, more trust in life. But reality will begin to reveal it. It will show up in the way you respond when something doesn't go as planned, and you do not collapse in the same way. It will appear in the way you speak to yourself when you make a mistake, and the voice that once attacked you now chooses understanding instead. It will live in the boundaries you begin to set, the risks you dare to take, the things you no longer tolerate, and the tenderness you start to extend to parts of yourself you used to reject. These are not random changes. They are the footprint of the quantum jump you walking through your life. The most important realization you can carry from this experience is simple and profound. You are not trapped in a single version of yourself. You are not sentenced to repeat the same patterns forever just because they have been with you for a long time. You are not only the sum of your past choices, your mistakes, your fears. You are the consciousness that can step outside of all that. Look at it from the tunnel of light and decide, this is not the only way I can be. You did exactly that here. You separated who you are from the vehicle you use in physical reality. You saw that there are other vehicles available, other configurations of beliefs, emotions, and possibilities. And you chose one that supports who you truly want to become. It is easy in the noise of everyday life to believe that change must be hard, slow, and heavy, that you must earn it through enough effort and struggle. What you experienced in this journey tells a different story. Change begins in a single decision of consciousness, to inhabit a new self. The tunnel, the gallery, the upgraded vehicle, the merge, these are all ways of showing your mind and body what that decision feels like. From there, the field takes over. Reality responds not to the stories you tell about yourself, but to the frequency you hold as yourself. When you live as the quantum jumped you are no longer begging the universe to bring you something from far away. You are allowing the universe to mirror who you have already decided to be. Of course, there will be days when you forget, days when old reactions flare up, when old doubts feel loud, when the world presses on you as if nothing has changed. This does not mean the jump failed. It means you are human. It means you are integrating. On those days, you can remember the window. You can remember that your body, your mind, and your history are not cages, only starting points. You can close your eyes, even for a few seconds in the middle of a busy day. Take one conscious breath and silently recall the feeling of stepping into that upgraded self. With that breath, you are back in the tunnel. With that breath, you are back in the gallery. With that breath, you are choosing again. The doorway to your parallel self does not disappear. It waits patiently in the space of your awareness. Over time, as you keep choosing this new configuration of you, it will stop feeling like something you have to remember and start feeling like your natural way of being. The quantum jumped you will no longer be a role you step into during meditation. It will be the person you simply recognize as me. The old self, with its familiar pains and limitations, will begin to feel more like a distant memory than your current identity. You will still honor it, still thank it, because it carried you long enough to reach this threshold. But you will not confuse it with who you are now. You will know, in a quiet, grounded way, that you have moved. And as you move, life will move with you. New opportunities will appear that match your new level of courage. New relationships will form, or old relationships will shift to meet your new boundaries. New ideas will come to you at the right time because your mind is no longer crowded with the belief that nothing can change. Even challenges will begin to look different. Instead of proof that the universe is against you, they will become invitations to anchor your upgraded self more deeply. Each time you respond like the you chose in the tunnel of light, you strengthen that reality. Each time you choose presence instead of panic, self-respect instead of self-sabotage, you make that parallel timeline more solid under your feet. So as this journey comes to a close, Understand that nothing is truly ending. You are simply shifting from an inner exploration to an outer expression. The quantum field that showed you countless versions of yourself is the same field that surrounds you now as you sit in your room, walk down your street, answer your messages, live your life. The window of light has dissolved into the space around you, into every breath you take, every choice you make. You do not need special music or a darkened room to access it. You need only the willingness to pause, to remember, and to ask yourself, which version of me am I choosing right now? The answer to that question will write your tomorrow. Not fate, not luck, not some distant force deciding for you, but your own consciousness, selecting its vehicle and stepping into it one moment at a time. You have already proven that you can do this. You have walked the tunnel. You have chosen your upgraded self. You have brought it home to your body. Now your life becomes the canvas where that choice is painted. Carry this knowing gently but firmly. The doorway will always be there. Whenever you feel lost, small, or trapped, you can return to it through breath, through awareness, through the simple act of remembering that you are not only the person you have been, you are the one who can, at any moment, step into a parallel reality within yourself and let the world transform in response.